Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is a pretty cool story. This is something a little different than what I've put up before, but I think it's going to help a lot of people get into the right mindset when they're just starting out to see the image or to start to be inspired by somebody who may have never used a digital SLR before, being able to capture some really, really amazing shots with not much coaching at all. Basically, no coaching at all. Just subtle things from reading the site. My friend Taylor, she has a love for photography. She has always taken pictures, and up until this point, she has not had a digital SLR. She's been using her Canon film camera, and that's what she's been comfortable with for a long time. So I let her borrow the D3000 and the 3518, a basic setup with just an 8 gig card set to RAW. Actually, I only set the camera to aperture priority because I know that she knew a little bit from her film camera, but she's never had more than 24 shots to work with. And I basically just gave her the camera set to aperture priority. It was on 400 ISO, and just sent her on her way to do whatever she wanted. So in the span, I think she had the camera for about a week, and she ended up taking 363 pictures. And I went through and I just focused on a few of them that I'm going to talk about, because it's just, when I was sitting here going over the images with her, it was just really, really great to see just composition and what she was able to do without really knowing much about the camera. And that's what photography is about. It's not always about being technically correct or knowing the most about how technique works, or that everything has to be so, your settings have to be perfect, or it has to be like this. When you're first starting out, the best thing to do is just shoot, observe, shoot the pictures, and then sit down and review them later and go back and look at your settings and say, all right, well, what could I have done differently this time? What did I cut off, or how was my framing? And then you go from there, and that's the best way to learn. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen. It's just a matter of doing, and then you really start to get good and you start to understand what's going on. And you may never understand fully technically why things are happening, but maybe you just have a feel for photography and just understand, I don't know, basically how to make those changes on your own. Instead of, say, using a light meter, maybe you do use the screen and have a feel for the screen and say, all right, I know that the screen may be a little bright, so I have to compensate this way with my shutter speed or ISO to make it right. But let's look at some of these images and just see what she did. So really, she did not change out of aperture priority or change her ISO. She really didn't. What she said is she didn't understand that, that she would need to do that or had to do that, which is fine, because remember, coming from film, she would have only have shot with one speed of film in that whole camera for that 24 frames. So here's just an image, and it's composed extremely well. It's shot at 1/40th of a second at f2.5 ISO 400, and remember, this is the D3000, and she basically did a fantastic job with everything. This composition is spot on. The sharpness, the focus is right on. In this case, it's her daughter writing a note to, I guess during Easter, to the Easter Bunny. Yeah, that's right, the Easter Bunny. So as we move forward, we're just seeing, she's seeing the image. She's looking and going, all right, if I focus on this area, this is what's going to happen. And then if I focus on this area, this is what's going to happen. So basically, she was further away on this at a higher angle, so more is going to be in focus from front to back, even though it's at 2.5, which is pretty narrow. And then you move to the next at a lower angle. It's the same 2.5, but now we just have a much shallower depth of field. So really, she's just playing around. And what was great about her images, it's not like she motor drove through her files. She took pictures and then recomposed and then moved and didn't really delete from the camera. So she's seeing very well. Same thing here. So it's just different angles. And then she went to the park, and look at this angle. Could it may have been possible that it would have been a little tighter. Could it be different? But you know what? This is how she shot it. And I think the composition is right on. Just learning from some of the things that we've talked about, she and I, in the past, she didn't put her daughter right in the middle here. She focused, she composed, she took the image, and then we converted it to black and white, and it is solid. 1/400th of a second at f3.2. Again, with the 35mm, that's the only lens she had, so that's great. And then another frame. Sure, it's a little tight top to bottom, but you know what? for somebody who's never really used the digital SLR before. This is just some amazing stuff. And her very, very good friend is, well, you're going to see pictures later of her having a baby, but I saw this picture. I was like, wow, that is an amazing angle, great framing, and this could be, and this is pretty much unedited, everybody. This could be a magazine shot for a nursery for how to set it up, and it's just really cool to see somebody pick up a camera and just start to see the image. And it's funny because this morning she said to me, basically she was having tea and then she put it down and she goes, wow, what's weird is I am seeing images everywhere. I'm seeing the picture everywhere. I'm framing everything I look at as if I was going to take the picture. And that right there is the mentality that you want to have. You want to start to pre-visualize and look at the world as if you're looking at it through the camera. And when you start to do that, you start guessing your settings. You start saying, hey, wow, this should be shot at X, Y, and Z, and this would be how I would frame it, and this is how I would process it later. So you're running through the whole process of shooting, composing, editing, all before you even do it, and sometimes even without a camera. So that is just an awesome thing that she said. She's like, it's amazing. I'm now starting to see images, and that's really great to know. And here, just cool seeing this and seeing how you can blow the background out. And then here's her best friend. She's pregnant, and when I asked her, I said, what would you change about this image? I didn't critique it, and didn't, it's a great image. I didn't, I wasn't harsh at all. And I said, what would you change about this image? And she said, well, ideally I would have liked to have kept both of her feet in there. Now, she may have had the feet in there, possibly. In the D3000 you don't get full coverage, well, even though it would give you a little more. So yeah, it's possible she just missed it, but she knows, she saw it. She goes, I wish I got both of her feet in there. So that's cool. Nice composition, nice framing. And then her daughter and her daughter's best friend just laying in the grass. This is great. She got down on the angle. So she's just seeing things different. She's just going and shooting, and it's great. And then now we're going into a delivery room. So I'll warn you now, there's going to be some pictures of a baby just born. This is really great. This isn't even edited yet, but she hasn't done any editing up to this point. But you can just see that she's seeing the image. She's looking and seeing things going on. And just looking at this image, you can see that there's something there. There's a note, and then there's the stethoscope, and it's just great. It's just a great shot. I like it. And then I don't know where this is, but it's another interesting shot, just playing with composition and playing with focus. And then her best friend just in the delivery room, and then just a fly on the wall. She's just there taking the picture, and she questioned whether she should have shot it tighter. And we tried to crop and look at it, and she goes, no, I don't like it. She didn't like it where it was just, I'm drawing on the image. She didn't like it where it was just pretty much like this. She didn't think it felt right because that's not how she shot it. She liked the fact that she had hold on, let me get rid of this crop. She liked the fact that the nurse was in the back corner and everybody was over there, and oh boy, what am I doing? She liked the fact that that was all there. Oh, I have to hit enter. She liked that everything was there, and this is a really good image. It's just before the baby. And then the reason I single out this photo is because it's shot at 1.8, a 60th of a second. And if one person is further back than the other, then they wouldn't be in focus. But right now, it's amazing that she was able to get them on the same plane and get it in focus, and that's awesome. Obviously, the baby's just being born, just capturing this stuff is really great, and for the first time using the digital SLR, she did an amazing job and captured some amazing moments here with, again, the D3001 basic lens. So it goes back to show you it's not all about the gear. It's about seeing the image and starting to walk around, like she said this morning, that I see images everywhere, and that's what it's all about, regardless of how technical you get, or if you're into learning all about the techniques, or knowing that, my f-stops go from here to here, or whatever. There's no right or wrong way to do this. There's what works for you and maybe what works for somebody else, and it's just what works for you is obviously what's going to be best. So there's not one person who's going to tell you that It should be done like this. It should be done like that. There's differences of opinion. Take everybody's opinion, but formulate your own, and you start to, formulate your own style. And this composition is just spot on. This is an amazing image that these, they will have forever, because it's just, she captured it. She did it right. She not did it right. She did it. She just captured it. She just shot. Didn't worry about the settings because she didn't understand them fully yet. But look, this is what's going to happen next. She sees all the images. Now we can go through and look at the settings, and we can go, all right, now let's take it to the next step. Your composition is spot on. Now let's start to think about what happens if we change the shutter speed higher. What happens if we change the ISO? All of these different things start to happen. So this is a great starting point. Just going out and shooting and starting to look at your images and seeing the world as a photo is what it's all about. So I hope this wasn't too long, but I just really wanted to focus and show you the images that she captured for the first time using the digital SLR. And I was, really, really amazed and just proud to see what she was able to capture, because it's just great shots for somebody just picking up a camera with one lens. And also, she said when we were walking around yesterday that, yes, it's difficult with the 35mm, just one fixed lens, because you're used to using zooms on whatever she was using with a film camera. But you know what? She's like, I appreciate it much more now when I have to move and fill the frame or compose it the way I want. And I said, exactly. You get that now when you first start. And then when you use the zoom lenses, you can really start to, then you can use the zoom lenses to their full potential, because then you're filling the frame. You're starting to try to use the camera and the lenses like you were using a fixed focal length lens. So, she did an amazing job. I think these are some great images, and I think, for you guys or whoever's just starting out or just stuck in a little bit of rut, you know what? Just throw a lens on the camera, set it in, I don't even care if you shot it in auto, just go and shoot and just have fun with it. And that's something she said. She said this digital made photography really, really fun. So it's all about fun. It's all about capturing these images and just learning from what you're doing. So that's really it for right now. I just wanted to point this out because I was really, really proud of what she was able to accomplish using this camera. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.